Hello, and welcome to all the truth seekers that have joined us today. I'm glad that you've decided to join this online community, and I hope you're ready to inhale some provocative insights that will inspire change in the way you do business. My name is Mark McKelsey, and I lead the people and the projects that bring you insights, shopper trends, and next practices from Global Market Development Center. For the next hour, this Infocast will make your lunch hour profitable by demonstrating just how the curiosity and the power of the consumer must be at the center of your strategy. In other words, the way you've done things in the past is not the way your future success will happen. Retailers and brands more than ever must be adaptive and in constant flux in order to connect with evolving populations. So, how you respond to this session is important. Without further ado, let's jump into it. I'm coming to you live from Colorado Springs and have Nitasha from Box joining us from New York today. Today's Infocast will help you understand how a startup culture inside a disruptive retail model can take advantage of evolving consumer needs and cater to trends quicker and faster than traditional brick and mortar can. Boxed as a world-class organization, continues to gain momentum and was awarded E-Tailer of the Year in 2016. Forbes magazine, in fact, named Box one of their next billion-dollar startups in that same year. Certainly, this is an organization that is not standing still and is on a mission to become a prominent force in the world of e-com. So let's give a quick history lesson on who Boxed is and why they matter to the marketplace. Boxed is an American online and mobile membership-free wholesale retailer that offers direct delivery of bulk-sized packages via the Boxed app or its website. The Boxed product offering has been compared to that of Costco and is based in New York City and was founded in August 2013. The company has 3 fulfillment centers, New Jersey, Nevada, and Texas, which allows orders to be delivered within 2 days anywhere in the US. In 2016, Boxed was backed by a $132 million fund by investors such as GGV Capital and DST Global. In 2018, Boxed received $111 million in Series D funding from Aeon Group, one of the largest retail chains in Japan, valuing the startup at $600 million. The reason I'm so excited about today's session is the fact that Nitasha's expertise and role inside Box's business model is to be the face of vendor marketing and onboarding. Nitasha has the opportunity every day to interact with brands who know that e-commerce trends show no sign of slowing down, but also Box's unique value proposition is really a virtual Costco and more. Nitasha is going to walk us through how she cultivates ideas within the organization and how she can be able to galvanize her senior leadership to take a stand on the pink tax and tampon tax, leading to Box becoming the first and only national retailer to do so. So help me welcome Nitasha. We're glad you're here. Would you tell us more about what our viewers can expect to learn today?
Sure. Thank you for having me, Mark. Two main things that I hope our viewers will get out of today's session is A, how employees can create change from within their organization, and B, how employers can cultivate an environment that makes it okay and comfortable for employees to voice issues and take a stand against issues that they care about.
Sounds great. I'm looking forward to it. So before we get started and dive in, I'd like to remind our viewers that we can take questions during or after the session by using the Q&A button at the bottom of your screen. Please don't use the chat feature. That's for something else. Just use the Q&A. And we'll get to those at the end of the hour. So let's get started. Back over to you, Nitasha.
Okay. I will share my screen. Okay, great. So a quick background on myself. I lead up, as Mark had mentioned, vendor marketing at Box. And so I work with, myself and my team work with about 80 different CPG partners across over 200 different brands to develop marketing campaigns on our program to increase their sales and exposure on our platform. And so I've been with Box for almost 5 years now. I come from a very deep e-commerce background, coming from Amazon in Seattle and then Samsung for product marketing on tablets, and have been at Box in a few different capacities, joined really heading up retention and CRM, and then really have been focused on vendor marketing and CPG brand relationships for the past 2 to 3 years. So as Mark had mentioned, what Box is and some of our history, just as a reminder, we are the stock up solution. Box is the online version of the Wholesale Shopping Club, both no membership fees and free shipping. We offer free samples on every order, and so customers can choose at least 2 out of 5 samples on their orders, as well as a curated assortment. So we are not the everything store. We care deeply about the items that we bring onto our platform and make sure that we're really filling in white space where needed, but we will not have 20 different versions of toilet paper on our platform. So a very easy shopping experience on Boxed. We deliver everywhere in the country within 2 days, and again, free shipping. So what is Rethink Pink? In 2016, I started doing a lot more research on pink tax and tampon tax and learned that it was a pretty big issue back then and 4 years ago, and unfortunately still is today in 2020. But I started doing more research on the products that Box sells on our platform. And I noticed that for many of the items where we carried a women's version and a male version, the products cost more either on a per unit basis or a per ounce basis for the women's products than the men's version. And these items can include anything from razors to shave gels to deodorants and body washes. And this is based on costs that us retailers receive from manufacturers. I also learned that at that time in over 36 states, feminine hygiene products like pads and tampons were charged a sales tax because they were considered luxury items and not necessities. I don't know about anyone who's listening today, but there is absolutely nothing luxurious about getting your period every month. And these are certainly necessities that every girl and every woman needs every month. And so wanted to do something about it. I went to our 4 founders, 4 male co-founders, and asked them what we can do and how we could potentially take a stand on this issue. Our CEO, Che Huang, has a little bit of a different story, and he'll say that I cornered him in the hallway and demanded that we take a stand on pink tax. But that's a different story. Che nor neither of our other male co-founders really could understand why or how these pricing discrepancies and essentially gender pricing discrimination still existed back then in 2016. And so within 2 weeks, we were able to create and launch our Rethink Pink campaign. So in 2016, Box became the first US retailer to take a stand against gender price inequities by reducing prices on pink tax items like razors, shave gels, and body washes that cost more on a per unit basis or per ounce basis than their male counterparts. We also took a stand on tampon tax by discounting feminine hygiene products to offset the sales tax that is applied today in 32 states. We obviously cannot remove sales tax, but we can discount these items to offset sales tax. And we're doing all of this on our own dime and taking a hit on margin for these items that we're discounting. Since we've launched, we've passed over $1.7 million of savings back to our customers. And so over the past almost 4 years, it really makes a difference on these items that we're discounting and the savings that our consumers are seeing. So this is an example of what our landing page looks like today. We're actually updating it next week in time for International Women's Day, where we'll have a pretty large campaign running on our platform. These are some of the items that are also included as part of our pink tax-free items on our site. So we've also been testifying and advocating for pink tax and tampon tax at a broader level, at a federal as well as state by state level. And so since we've launched, we've testified in Colorado, Nevada, and Ohio after they've introduced bills to repeal the tampon tax. Last November, Nevada actually became the 10th state to repeal tampon tax. This is very important for Box since, as Mark mentioned, we also have a fulfillment center in Vegas. And then we also spoke at Jackie Spears' Pink Tax Repeal Act in DC last April. And so she introduced a federal bill that would prohibit gender-based pricing discrimination on consumer goods and services. This past, or 2 weeks ago, I was also testifying at the California State Senate in support of Senator Jackson's bill that would also prohibit gender-based discrimination on consumer goods and services. And so we are finally starting to see change, more so on the tampon tax level, since that is state by state, and those do require state laws and state tax laws. The pink tax has been introduced in several other states as well. Governor Cuomo has also introduced something similar in New York State. This will take a little bit longer to pass through, but the great part is that there's starting to be conversation around pink tax and more education around the issue at hand. We've also been partnering with several of our partners to give back to the community. And so in 2018, we partnered with Seventh Generation to donate feminine hygiene products to Girls Helping Girls, period. They're a nonprofit that supplies a year's supply of feminine hygiene products to underserved high schools across the country. This initiative and donation is led by a mother and her 2 daughters in New Jersey. And so we were able to donate together with Seventh Generation over 150,000 feminine hygiene products to Girls Helping Girls, period. We've also partnered with P&G's Period Poverty Campaign this March, so launching next week. And for the month of March, 1 period product will be donated to Feeding America for each box of Always pads or Tampax tampons purchased at Box. And so we are starting to see several of our brands also take a stand on these issues, on these very important issues, and we're really excited to be able to partner with them and help their initiatives as well. And so this is just an example of our Girls Helping Girls, period campaign, us packing the actual products in our fulfillment center in Union with the Girls Helping Girls, period team. And then shipping these out to their warehouses where they ship to underserved high schools across the country following this campaign. So, what is the outcome of this? And why is it so important for companies to take a stand on issues that align well with their core values? If companies are able to take a stand on a social cause in a genuine way, can actually be good for business. We've seen that since we launched, our Rethink movement has been picked up by several press outlets. You can see a few here from CNN and Bustle and Yahoo. We've been featured on GMDC and Fox as well. And then we've also seen tens of thousands of customers who've signed up for Box as a result of our Rethink Pink initiative. And we know this because they write into our customer service team almost every day, really applauding us for this initiative and taking a stand on this issue. And so equality has been something that's always been important for myself and for Box. And this is such an important issue that aligns so well with our core values that we've actually been able to see improvements and the benefit of it from a business perspective as well. So lessons learned our key points for this Infocast today were what consumers can do and what employers and employees can do to really take a stand on issues that they care about. and how can that ultimately affect business and how we can do good business. So for this particular initiative and any initiative that consumers really care about, how can they continue to support an issue and raise awareness? My recommendations are be vocal about what you care about and educate your networks. You can always talk about, when I had first launched this initiative in 2016, probably 1 out of 10 friends or colleagues that I talked to about it didn't know that they had been paying tax on feminine hygiene products almost their entire lives in New York until it was repealed in 2015. And so really educating your networks about an issue is the best way to raise awareness and spread education on it. Then the other way that consumers can really get involved is by supporting brands that align with your values. And so there have been several brands that have launched in the past few years in response to the pink tax issue. And so by really supporting those brands, that will ultimately put pressure on the larger manufacturers to either update their pricing or change their strategies, because the more consumers care about these issues and the more brands are starting to take note of it, that will ultimately change the industry overall. Secondly, what can employers do? So as Box has done, and what really motivated me and incentivized me to bring forth this issue to our co-founders, was create an environment that cultivates ideas from within. As long as that idea aligns with your core values and your mission, then you never know what the ultimate outcome can be from listening to an employee with an idea. So really creating an open environment, having access to your employees, letting your employees have access to you, it could be quite beneficial for your company overall. And if you can build a forum for employees to voice their issues and take a stand on what they believe in, you just never know what kind of ideas will come about. Then finally, how can employees find their voice in the workplace? When I had first started thinking about this initiative in 2016, I went out for a lunch with 2 of my colleagues for Hot Pot, and we were just kind of shooting around ideas. And this was an idea that had come about, and it was really them that had motivated me to go and talk to our leadership team about it. And so really being able to talk about what you care about, and then meeting and setting up one-on-ones with key folks in your organization and creating allies within the company will help you find your voice in the workplace, and also ultimately potentially create some impactful change in the workplace as well. And thank you.
Well, thanks, Natasha. We do have a few questions that have come in from some of our viewers. So let's go ahead and get to those. Mandy is asking, how have manufacturers and other retailers responded to boxed practices in this area?
Sure. So many of our manufacturers have actually partnered with us, as you've seen, 7th Generation and P&G also launching their own initiatives. And so they've been really excited to partner with us where it makes sense in terms of donations, et cetera, which is really incredible. And so we are starting to see that change on that end. We've also started working with other manufacturers who still unfortunately practice some pricing discrimination, gender pricing discrimination on their side. And so we no longer assort items that do have gender pricing discriminatory prices. And what we've done and what we've seen is negotiate the same cost for women's items versus men's for a specific brand. Otherwise, we wouldn't have onboarded it onto our platform. And that specific brand actually updated their pricing.
Wow.
And so really being able to spread that awareness and taking a stand on this is seeing some great impact.
That's great. Sam is asking, how have the consumers responded to Box's stance on gender-based pricing discrimination?
Sure, we've seen a lot of really great responses from our consumers. I had mentioned that We almost get, at least a write into customer service a day about how excited consumers are about this initiative and why they decided to join Box as a result of it. And then we also see a ton of engagement from our social campaigns, a lot of user-generated content as well for our consumers sharing our campaigns and our initiatives to their networks as well. And so, really incredible responses from our customer base across the board.
That's great. Patricia is asking, you mentioned launching your Rethink Pink campaign 2 weeks later. What medium did you use? Social, and what else? And can you discuss this a little bit for her?
Sure. So we were able to move really fast once we got the go-ahead from our leadership team and decided to discount these items on our platform. So we created a landing page. That was the first thing we did, really educating our customers on why this was an issue that we were taking a stand on. And then highlighted across several different media channels. So we sent an email to our consumers. We highlighted it through our social channels. Really across the board. We had it on our homepage for a couple weeks. And so it was a really large initiative. And this is not a one-time campaign. It's an initiative that you can see still lives on our platform 4 years later, and that will continue to live on, and we will continue to talk about until it's an issue that no longer exists.
We have time for one more question. Jennifer is asking, how do you identify products that have a pink tax, and how do you determine the resulting discount to your customers?
Yeah, sure. That's a great question. We actually look at the same products, essentially the same items from the same brand or manufacturer that have a women's version and a men's version. And so in a lot of cases, the men's version will say men in the name. And so we'll look at those two items and then make sure that on a per unit basis or per ounce basis, if it's a gel or body wash, that they are comparable. And if they're not, then that's how we'll discount those products.
Got it. We have one more question that actually has come in from Mark. I'm not sure if this is category focused but the question is, what is the total annual volume at Box?
Oh, I don't think I can share that. Unfortunately, we're still a privately held company, and so sorry about that.
No problem. Well, Nitasha, thanks again for being on this Infocast today. We really enjoyed it, and we hope that our viewers got a lot out of it as much as I did. So thanks once again.
Thank you for having me.
If this is your first time experiencing a GMDC Infocast, I'd like to make sure that you're aware that this session and all previous Infocast events can be viewed in the Archive tab on gmdcconnect.org, along with a schedule to register for future ones. I'd encourage you to get involved with GMDC Retail tomorrow and become a member. Today's Infocast is a small sample of what members have access to. GMDC is a nonprofit, retail-owned association that helps connect people to companies to growth and opportunities in the general merchandise, health, beauty, wellness, and self-care industries. For more information, please contact me at markm@gmdc.org, and I'd love to help you find opportunities to get your company exposed to high-profile executives and decision makers that can change your business. Thanks for joining us today. We hope the rest of your week is as productive as this last hour has been. Take care.